like behind the scenes or what's been going on behind the scenes with them. And this will really be the first time that we hear from anybody, or that we at least get it from the source, or allegedly get it from the source. But I believe it. What's been going on TDE side and Dave Free side, and like the people that Kendrick is involved with, that was also, mentioned in the rap beef, which I'm actually like, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely want to hear it, because of course TDE don't come out too much or say too much in like the public eye a lot of times, or really throughout this whole beef. So man, finna get ready to get into that. I'm finna get ready to go ahead and play it, because I'm ready to hear it and see what Act got to say. Even though personally I don't really be believing 89% of what this man be saying half the time, because his sources seem to really be trash sometimes, bro. But we finna see what he got to say in this one. Let's get into it.
And Kendrick have radicalized fans. His objection, he said, yo, some of this stuff on social media and some of the conversation, the shit is over. It's gone too far and getting too far. They're bringing up people's wives, people's kids, and people that are people who are not public figures.
Nah, that's facts.
Say anything about Dot. So what?
And you already know, like, Kendrick was not with that at all.
Whatever. But there's other people getting dragged into this that's not public figures. Now, I agree. This battle is over. It's old. But what I can't agree with, when it comes to them having that demeanor, both of y'all are complicit. And that's why I even suggested, well, I ain't saying y'all got to patch it up with Drake, because I don't think he want to patch it up with y'all neither. But y'all should probably try to because most of this is coming from charged up fan groups or audiences that are super fans of both people. So if y'all say y'all don't want people to talk about y'all wives and y'all this, well, y'all got to realize where this came from. Y'all called a man a pedophile. He said your son or Kendrick's son wasn't his. Then y'all said he got a daughter, which nobody found. Y'all brought it there first. Y'all can't get on the fans. Now, granted, I think what he's saying, and I agree with, the fans need to let this shit go.
Ain't gonna cap.
and he's talking about radical.
Even for myself, like, I ain't even gonna lie, I'm tired of talking about it. I don't even want to. I'm tired of talking. Well, I can't even say I'm tired of talking about it, because I don't really talk about the beef no more. I really more so, I talk about Kendrick. I talk about the stats that Kendrick have. I even do talk about news about Drake whenever it comes up and whenever I see it, because it's all still music. Like, I still love music. I still love rap, hip hop. Like, I love that. So of course it's still gonna be things that I still talk about. And Kendrick just being my favorite rapper. But the beef itself, it is old. We understand everybody's gonna have their jokes as to why, like, one person don't like the other, like, have your little, like, inside debates. But as far as, like, internet wise, bro, it's definitely old. And I'm hoping that people just really learn to let it go, because it was never that serious, for real. At least to me, it was never that serious to me, and it shouldn't be that serious to anyone, especially if you wasn't even personally involved. It's your favorite artist, cool, but it's never that serious, bro.
Fans, just like still posting about still posting, I don't know, some of these guys' family members, but still posting them, still talking about them in whatever derogative light. That's the stuff that, they're like, because I guess, these people have probably seen it and they're like, damn, I'm not a public figure. I can't defend myself. Makes sense. But it is both ways. And I try to let them know it is both ways. This isn't something where it's only a certain group of people doing it. This is where the battle, or obviously the battle is over, this is where it's at. So if I said the divisiveness in hip hop, if that still bothers y'all, that should subside on both sides.
There's some truth to that, no cap.
We'll see.
I do, however, disagree with the fact that he said that Kendrick or that they threw the personal shots first. That one I don't believe. We all heard the Whitney line that was in Push Ups. People, and that be the crazy thing. People seem to forget that Drake dropped songs because everything that they everything that they say about Kendrick, everything that they say Kendrick said is just like, yo man said it too. So it's like, for me, it's a shot for shot. It's all justified, but don't cry about it when you're the one being joked about, or people are coming for your family because you came from other people's family. So
You know, he, you know, he comes into my suite, comes in Dolo. Me and him, we chopping it up. I get a drink. I was drinking. Me and him, we chopping it up. And it's the first time talking to him. Very reasonable guy. Let me say this. Very reasonable guy. His conversation went from there because, again, I told him, I said, yo, this is both ways. Yo, put it like this. I don't see nobody who doxes people more than K-Bots. And here's the thing. When Drake fans do things, they look at Drake to say he's almost orchestrating this. That's how people look at it when Kendrick fans do things. Oh, that's what y'all orchestrate. That's what I'm saying. Most of this shit is fan shit at this point.
yeah,
So cool. Me and him, we're chopping it up. And in, speaking about, obviously he's going forward, this and third, he also mentions, because at first, when he first walks up, he says, he says, bro, why did you let that kid come on your stream? He lied on me. And he was saying in a way like, yo, bro, you letting Drake run plays to put people on your stream. Now, I have to correct that, and I'm going to stand on this. I won't give up any names. But the person who came on to talk about botted streams, go find the kid, and y'all can find out. Again, I don't want to give up people's names. This was not from Aubrey Drake Graham. That was not from him. That was not from OVO. That's from people who in and around work with Doc. I'll say that. I'm not saying this as innuendo. I'm saying this as facts. Not saying that these people work directly, but that's their orbit.
but see, here's the thing about that though. Even if they say that it was people around Dot, isn't it your job as a music journalist to like fact check that? And this is why I say this is why I say half the time, bro, I don't really be listening. I don't really be believing what Act be talking about half the time. More than half the time. Way over more than half the time. I'm not gonna cap, but it's just like, if you're going to take the path of music industry media or whatever, because that's what it is, and you want to be a credible source, especially when you have a platform that's as big as it is, like Act has a really major platform, you should have the ability, or at least just be able to have the ability to be able to, same shit, but you should be able to make sure that the people that you are interviewing, the people that you're bringing on your stream, or the people that are saying things, or that you're finna get ready to just talk to on stream on your platform, is an actual credible source. Make sure they are who they say they are. Make sure they are actually around the people who they say they are around. That's all I'm saying. It just seems like a quick grab. That's what it feels like. It feels like just a quick grab. It's like somebody said something, or he heard something from somebody, and he went and found this kid, and he grabbed this kid, or he felt like he had like some major news, and then grabbed this kid, and then just did his little 1-2 on his stream, and then everything happened as it happened. That's part of how all this even started, even going into the lawsuit, when Drake quoted it in a lawsuit. It's just like, you took an L on that because you didn't do. I feel as if he didn't do as much researching as he should have before that happened, or he just didn't think about the consequence or how big that it would get. Because I don't think anybody at the end of the day thought that this beef would end up in a lawsuit. But crazier things have happened.
That's very important to say. So I said to Mr. Saleh, right? Brother, I get, what I've realized is that there's a lot of emotions. I don't have no emotions to this shit like this. I could still bump Euphoria. I don't give a fuck.
Of course you don't have any personal relation to this. It's not about you. You're not involved in it.
I had the most successful year in hip-hop that I've ever had. I don't care like that. They do. I could tell he was, I won't use that word, the E word. He was, let's say, passionate. And I said to him, I run a media outlet. When someone brings me that info, we are going to run it. Just like someone came to me and said, Drake scammed me. If I was operating as Drake's little tool or whatever, pawn, I wouldn't have Julian up here trying to explain how he felt top 5 and Drake scammed him out of millions. So the point is, what I told him is that that's how media works, brother. I get y'all are involved with this guy or back and forth, and you're viewing anything that comes out about you to think it's directed from there. But I could tell you it's not. And I've ran things that doesn't make Drake look in a good light. And Drake, he has to know by now, you know who Ack is. I remember telling that to Dave Free. I said, Dave Free, I've been doing this shit way before I covered y'all. I did it back to War and Chirac days, brother. So when you talk about how I view things or how I present things, this ain't nothing I started yesterday. I've been doing me the same way. Okay. So I talked to Mr. Sala, and he gave me some info. I think I can say all this shit. This shit shouldn't be private. So he told me, which, again, these are allegations, but I'll tell you what he told me. He said, Ack, here's the thing. The reason why even I had to come over here and holler at you, dog, that dude who said that shit, he's lying. I never paid for no botted things. I said, well, he sent a screenshot, whatever. I said, maybe he's lying. I don't know. But that's what the kid said. He said, well, that shit has got me in a federal lawsuit now. So what are you talking about? He said, they subpoenaed my phone for Drake's lawsuit. They took it.
And that's crazy.
That is bothersome. Again, that ain't, again, that is something that probably is very annoying. But, hey.
It don't got nothing to do with him.
Y'all know my demeanor towards Drake's lawsuit. I don't think it will wholly be successful at the end. But then I get a little bit more info. And again, this is why this is why you got to pop out and show niggas. Because this is where I get,
at this point now, I just feel like he really just went to the concert because he knew people wanted to talk to him. I feel like this is probably part of, I don't know. I feel like this is probably part of a whole thing to like clear up some shit.
Kendrick's team never talked to me. They stopped talking to me as soon as the battle starts. They stopped. Like there used to be some communication. The guy named Kojo, me and Kojo did mad business together. Kojo hasn't said a word to me in English language since it is what it is. So here's the thing. Oh, now I remember because I was having a conversation with them. And if you're hearing this, because when we were speaking directly, face to face, Mr. Dave Free, when I reference to 2022, and I said, because he said, why didn't you hit us up if you're coming today? And I said, brother, why would I hit y'all up if y'all haven't talked to me in years that y'all could line me up? I'd rather catch y'all as a surprise, even though that's not my energy. But I'd rather y'all not be prepared for me. Anyway, so he says, yo, remember in 2022 at the Miss Morale tour, I was standing right next to you. Like, I showed you a lot of hospitality. I said, you did. he also said,
Okay, but you feel that. Okay, so now hold on, because you feel that way, but yet Drake, who hasn't. Oh my God, bro! This is why I stayed away. This is why I chose to stay away from this. You say that, but yet Drake, who also haven't gave you tickets to anything, as far as we know. Where's that type of energy? Where's that type of energy for him? It's just not the same type of energy anymore. He don't even really talk about Drake that often anymore, honestly. So I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. This is why I stopped talking about it. This shit makes my head hurt too much.
which was a confusing thing. He said,
I'm
he
still
said, I
trying to
didn't
hear
even know
this
how
though.
you got to there. And I was like, huh? I said, brother, back then I didn't really go to concerts like that. I said, y'all invited me. And he was like, nah, we never invited you. No, my memory has recollected. I was invited, and you could do the homework on this. 2022 by Kojo. Me and Kojo have done many business together. Number one digital guy, number one blogger. We've ran it up. Don't you worry. He works for y'all exclusively now. Ask him, did you give act tickets to Kendrick's concert? He works for y'all now. So if you're wondering, I didn't remember in the moment because I'm like, no, it came from y'all. But he was working for y'all, and he gave me tickets that time, okay? Anyway, I'm still with Mr. Salem. So what he says to me, and this is all news to me, and you got to take it with a grain of salt because, again, because we've seized communication, it's the first time I'm hearing these things. It's the first time I'm hearing that they took this guy's phone because now they're looking for these allegations of botting. I didn't know. They don't put this info out anywhere, so I could only find out.
So that had to be at the time where they was asking for information from all of Kendrick's team when Drake and his lawyers put it in a lawsuit, or they put in like a motion or something to like search everybody or look into everybody's information. That had to be around that time.
Out when I pop up, cool. Which, by the way, he claims he's never bought it, so they will find that out. Also, he made a point that I actually agree with a bit. He said, I'm surprised Drake is doing the corny shit of suing because the same way he don't talk to his label, we don't talk to our label. We just pop up and turn our album in. So how the hell could we be in cahoots with UMG for anything? Okay. So we're continuing to talk because, again, no. This is when, what's the name of that song? Euphoria drops. And I told him, give me one, because we're sitting right next to each other. I said, give me 1 second, sir. I got to go watch Euphoria. I like Euphoria as a song. So I got to go turn to Euphoria. I did that. Got some more drinks.
Euphoria,
he comes back over.
Is lit.
Now we're talking again.
Live Euphoria.
So he says to me, he says, because I was like, yo, even with you being put into this battle, Drake posted you, right? Like, why are you upset if other people have mentioned you when the two main people dragged other people into it? Well, he said Drake posted me because Drake know me. Now, I don't know what that means. He said he know me. Apparently he's from Toronto too. I don't know. But then he said, here's the thing. He said, you should, and this is what I don't know. And I'm going to ask Drake. I'm like, Drake, is this true? He says, you should have heard this nigga Drake, what he was saying to us before we whipped his ass. This is what he told me. I said, what do you mean? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Right. I never really knew Drake speaking to anybody. Like, Drake has told me he hasn't spoken to Dot directly, but I didn't know about if he spoke to anybody else in and around Dot. Anthony Saleh, he confirms to me, yes, Drake was sending me voice notes talking crazy, like he's a mob boss. That's what he says. He says Drake is saying to him, Said Drake is saying shit like, "Yo,
Which I
I'm
know
gonna
had to
done
sound.
you,
I just know it had to sound funny.
my boss." That's what he says. He says Drake is saying to him. Said Drake is saying shit like, "Yo, I'm gonna done you," like just talking crazy, like, "Yo, you niggas is watch, yo, you got like you guys think you could finish me?" Da da da, crazy. All of a sudden they
See, and obviously he took it so he took it so personal, bro, for no reason. It's just a soul. It's just a soul. You came at his wife first, so he shot back at you on some personal shit. You can't be mad at that. And then he was really trying to play as if he was unbothered the whole time.
then they're like, then we drop the bomb, right? Cool. Not like us. They're talking. All right.
Okay. So that means that he had to send the voice notes probably around after what was that? Meet the Grams. Then he had to send them voice notes. Which, I mean, hey, can't be mad. I understand why. I don't. Again, me. Well, first off, I wouldn't have took it to the place that Drake took it in the first place. But it comes with it. It comes with it when you start shit.
Then
and you go too far.
Then he gives me some more insight, and I ain't gonna lie to you. This was worth going to the concert for this insight. I live off insight like this. He says that Pusha T shit is real.
Oh, of course.
He says the only problem is people think that happened recently. That didn't happen recently. He said if it was recently, UMG would let Pusha say whatever you want to say or do what he want to do. Why? Right now, UMG and Drake, their relationship might be irreparably broken because of the lawsuit. They're going at it. So they're not trying to spare his feelings anymore. But you told me. Not Like Us dropped last May. He said around June, July, because Drake supposedly approached UMG saying, "Yo, there's just a shooting at my house. These niggas got my house," which another thing, which again, you know, one point kind of counteracts the other. They say this shit going too far. I'm like, I can see how a nigga might think y'all went too far. Your cover art of the biggest song is his house with pedophilia pinpoints. But whatever. So he said Drake complained to UMG because remember there was a shooting at the crib.
Yeah.
And UMG asked Kendrick's team, "Could you remove the cover art? We need you to take the cover art down. It got his house on it. We want you to take that down."
Okay.
From what I heard, they stood 10 toes down to say, if we do that, the whole song should come down. We're not changing shit. UMG, who clearly is in it for the bread.
Okay.
Like,
okay. That makes sense.
Keep that shit up.
That makes sense. All right, bro. So Drake took a spectacle of a situation and made it into a whole thing that is not, simply because UMG, who is a record label who does it for the money, they don't care about that. They don't like each other. They don't care. They just in it for the check. Two of the biggest artists that we have is going back and forth. Hell yeah, y'all go at it. That's a bag. That's an easy. Everybody ate around that time. Content creators ate it. Wait, that's probably loud as hell. Turn this down a little bit. Content ate it. Content creators ate. UMG ate. The people ate. Everybody ate around that time. So it's like, if I gotta take the whole song down because you just don't like the cover art, which I understand. For some people, it could be going too far. For me, it was just part of the whole scheme and the joke. If people really wanted to know your address, it's on the internet. It's that easy to find. It's not just only going to take that. But looking at it at that as, oh, you want to take the whole song down if we change it. Sorry, you're just going to have to suck it up. You're just going to have to suck it up. But okay.
I didn't say that, but like, basically they just allowed it, right? Cool.
That's funny.
However, while all of this is brewing, apparently that's when the Pusha T thing happens. And that's when UMG, who is really at that point on a rocky relationship with Drake, they're trying to salvage the relationship. They tell Pusha, hey, right now, you can't drop nothing dissing the guy.
He clearing up a lot.
We're trying to work on our relationship with them. Could you change this? Could you change that? Now, I'll be honest. He didn't say Drake instructed them to do this. He said they were trying to save a relationship with Drake, the label. So they were being extra sensitive about things that could piss the guy who I guess he was gearing up to sue.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. I'll speed through the story a little bit. Yeah, pretty good conversation with Anthony Sella. Seems like a pretty good dude. Pretty smart. He's a business guy. Then Dave Free comes over. And Dave Free, he's like, yo, let me talk to you for a second, bro.
We go talk to you for a second, bro. You know when niggas say, let me come talk to you for a second, it's you finna have a real conversation.
And Dave Free, he's like, yo, let me talk to you for a second, bro. We go talk. And we get into like, that we've met each other. It was whatever, cool. And his point subsequently ended at this, his point of interest or point of conversation subsequently ended with exactly what Anthony said. But at first he was kind of like, I felt like he was almost asking me like, yo, bro, like, why are you doing us like that? And I was just like, what do you mean? And I was asking him, I'm like, yo, you do understand I've been doing this for a long time. You understand my POV was going to lie a certain way. What do you mean? Get to a point where eventually he even says, like, bro, how much is he paying you for this? And I'm so stupid. In the moment, I'm thinking, wait, you think Drake paid me to come here? What the fuck? So I think I said, nigga, nobody knows I'm coming here. Even Drake, nigga, what the fuck? Like, what do you think Drake would pay me to go to a concert? What the fuck? No, then he said, no. I'm like, pay you for all of this shit that you're saying. And I'm like, huh? He's like, bro, like, I want to know what you're getting from this. And that's who I think he's a smart businessman. But that's when I was just like, wait.
I'm going to pause that. I don't believe, now that we're like far along in this and we far removed, I don't really believe that Drake paid academics. Because I ain't gonna lie, even the way that how academics act sometimes, or at least how it's perceived, you don't have to pay for that. So I don't really believe that Drake paid academics. I believe academics was just a whole fan. And then I also was listening to a TikTok video earlier. I think it was from Trip. Shout out to Trip on TikTok, where he was talking about academics and the reason as to why academics for a long time could have just leaned on Drake for his career for a long time, because around the time where Ack was going independent, it was Drake's stage. We wasn't listening much from Kendrick. We wasn't really listening much from I ain't gonna say we wasn't having much from Cole, but Cole was like in a, he was in a period. But Drake was the guy mainstream wise in the music industry that everybody was going to. He was popping. He had all the songs. He was dropping after dropping after dropping. Around the time academics had started streaming, right after he left Everyday Show, after the Everyday Struggle show kind of ended, he just started his own independent platform. And around that time, Drake was just the guy. Drake was the man around the time he started that. So he leaned so much on Drake, while Drake was basically everywhere in the music industry. So I don't necessarily believe that as much as, because even I've said it, I'm not going to hold you. I've said it to where he's Drake's biggest D writer. I just think it's just because Drake. I do agree with Trip when he said since Drake was just the man at the time, as when academics had started his independent platform. That's just that was the man to talk about. He was the person to talk about. So I don't really believe Drake really pays act for the way that act acts, but even still, bro, it's unacceptable, and I wouldn't do it.
They thought Drake bought me? I've never been more insulted in my life. I've never been more insulted in my life, Chad. Nevertheless, I told him, I said, brother, let me just be honest with you. Most of the people I've supported the most in hip-hop, they've never given me a dime, including Drake. That's not how it works. I say, I'm in media. And I said, this is the reason why you do your thing. You do a great job managing, whatever. I'm in media. My job is not to extort artists. We make and I'd be offended by when people say that. Brother, do I look broke? Like, when y'all see me, I'm dripping in diamonds. Like, I got the cars. What the fuck? Why do y'all think a rapper could buy me? I shit on rappers. Not saying I can shit on Dot or Drake. When it comes to, nigga, 99% of these rappers don't got what I got. That is so insulting to me. I know how big I get. So I'm like, what?
I don't.
Please don't insult me like that. So I explained to him I've been doing this for a long time. For a very long time. And the idea that I could be paid to say or think or move like is absolutely ludicrous. What I did explain to him, though, my platform, it benefits us every time we're the center of everything. And he mentioned, Dot mentions you. Dot could have went crazy. He didn't go crazy. And I said, I know. I pointed that out many times. But the idea that I'm getting paid by either side, and by the way, I'm not insinuating that's how they move or that's how they operate with people in the media. I'm not saying that. But I just have to speak for me. I tell them, as long as my platform is in the mix of everything, I always win. Win, lose, or draw. I always win. The biggest, other than Dot, the biggest winner of the battle was Big Ack. I don't know what y'all think. So the point is,
that's crazy.
I had to let him know. I hope that's not what you think is happening. He seems like he understood, and then that's when he went into Anthony Sala's point, which was, he had one direct question for me. He said, Ack, the only reason I came to talk to you because I wanted to know how personal, and this is when I realized I'm like, some of the shit that Drake said about this guy, and some of the narratives that's continued, it's affected him. And I understand why, because these are hurtful things that could affect anybody else. People have said things about me that hurt my feelings as well. He said, I wanted to know, is this just content, or is this something that you're carrying personally? And I was kind of like confused, because I said to him, wait, are you asking if I'm here to slide for Drake? Like, I didn't say that directly, but that's the thought.
I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant.
Are you asking that's what is happening here? But he was really interested to know how personal all of this back and forth is to me. Because he said, if it's personal to me, he made it clear it's personal to him. Well, we could get at it. And we got a bunch of people, left, right, and center, him and I both, we could get to it. And I said to the brother, and again, I'm watching him, and, his eyes, I'll say the eyes, it reeks of passion, and I understand why. I said to him, do you think that if it was that personal to me and it was smoke, I would come to your concert? What do you think?
Hey, bro, hold on.
If I care that much about whatever you and Drake got, that I said if I see one of y'all niggas, something's gonna happen, why would I come to the belly of the beast? I never said he was crying, but looking him eye to eye, he was passionate as a motherfucker about these things he was speaking about.
Ready to swing
Again,
on
he landed on the point of there are a lot of things that have continued post battle that is ultimately hurtful. Narratives, criticisms about people who aren't necessarily public figure. They mention criticisms about certain women that definitely affects them. And I agreed. And I said to him, it feels like, and he knows I said this. By the way, there was a guy, because I guess when Anthony Sala came over, and he had a couple guys with him, and it was about even. I think they doubled back, and they were like, yo, bring 2 more, and then bring a nigga to record. There was another nigga, he's over there like this. And I'm like, there's no need to record me. I tell the whole story, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. You can't record me. There's no need to record me. I'm the recording. I go tell the story. I always tell the story. Like, there's nothing where like you put the video up like, that's not what happened. No. So, and I only noticed it because my guy afterwards, and I peeped the whole surrounding, he's like this the whole time. But really, you could hear the conversation. So, PG Lang got the conversation somewhere. And if anything I'm saying does not reflect the actual reality of the conversation we're having, they have it recorded. They could absolutely put it out. So this guy recording is kind of being like, you know. Again, if I'm saying anything that is a match, the spirit, the energy, the words, the verbiage, the entire totality of the conversation, I give them permission. They can put it out. Please.
Protecting themselves. That's what they doing. Just in case.
So, what else did he say? Yeah, so I said to him, I feel like
I ain't even realized. Nah, never mind. Forget it. But I would record it too. The whole time. Since I paused it, I might as well talk about this. I would record it too, bro, because like he said, it's too many narratives and it's too much stuff being said that's really getting spent out of control for real. Some of the things ain't gonna lie, you hear and that you see on the internet that people say is insane. But so I would record it too for protecting yourself legally, because it's already one lawsuit going on, so you really got to protect yourself when it comes to that. And because you're on the internet, and I guess from their personal perspective, it's they're trying to figure out where Act stands in all of this. I feel, because that's really what whole time they really kind of slick, and I ain't gonna say interrogate. They did have a conversation with him and try to they listened to points and gave points on how they feel or whatever from what Act is saying. But I feel like they was really just partial of it is they was just trying to figure out where Act stood. Like, is this dude paying you? Do you really feel like this certain way? Because again, when you're seeing on the internet, it's when you see stuff on the internet, it's there. It's insane. It's crazy the things people think of. But for them to have this conversation with him, I ain't gonna say it was pretty good that they had this exchange and that they was really getting some things off their chest. And I feel like they talked to Act on purpose, partially to just see where he stood and if this was just a game to him or anything like that, because it's a lot of things personally that's affecting them, obviously, from these stories that we're hearing. So no, man. Plus, also when you kind of think about it, this would be the first time that for real, PG Lang and them was into something this deep, or they was involved in something this deep in all of their careers. I don't think they've had to deal with artists that been through this, or so I feel like this is their first time experiencing this. And if you know anything just about growing up in the hood, period, it's when certain things happen, it's a certain confusion, because internet is not reality. That's something that I try or that I really do need to start preaching. Internet is not reality. So, you know, there's that.
Like some of the stuff that you're saying to me is misguided because you can't say it to him. And I'm saying him just in, I was referring to Drake, which he somewhat conceded to, saying, yeah, that's why also my energy is chill. And by the way, his energy was chill. My energy was chill. No, everybody was chill. I'm like, let's not act, everybody was chill. He says, yeah, like, if I came out here tripping, it would be like I'm doing something or trying to do something to somebody when I really mean for it to be over there. And I said, yeah, I would agree.
Oh, yeah.
All in all, again, the final and main question was, is this personal or is this content and business? And I'm sorry, I've never met Drake. I'm sorry. I met Dot one time before he was famous. Brother, there's nobody bigger than the chat. I'm running my shit over here, okay? So whatever y'all call him, what I want to say to both sides, and again, I love Drake. Drake's my man. Like, I love Drake. But, like, again, I'm not a Drake killer. I'm not top 5.
That's a shot. That man top 5.
My assessment of this whole thing, I think both sides need to take accountability. Yes, fans and media do have some accountability to take. But y'all can't say why this shit get to this level when y'all kicked it off by saying this man fucks kids. Then he also says, well, your kid ain't yours. Both of those are out of bounds.
And everybody was saying that throughout when it first started. Everybody was saying that, right? Regardless of who said it first, everybody was saying, or everybody saw that it was getting to a point to where it was getting a little too far and it was getting a little too crazy. But it went to that. Both artists took it there. One just did it better than the other.
Those are out of bounds. But I've told y'all, this is the beef. This is the beef where if somebody got clipped, I wouldn't be surprised. They're talking hot. So I guess I'll leave it at this. Y'all going to Toronto in 2 days. They over there. They over there. Y'all got to go talk to them. Don't talk to me. Don't y'all say Drake don't even do a stream with me. Come on now. Y'all can't talk to me about that. Y'all know where Drake at? Drake know where y'all at? Other than that, man, just keep making y'all money. And by the way, here's the thing. The demeanor was not a demeanor of the winners last night. It wasn't. The performance was. Not the demeanor of anybody else. I do social media, so I know once you open Pandora's box, you can never close it. These fans are going to continue to torment. They're going to continue to bully, harass, dox. You get what I'm saying? They're going to do things way beyond the scope of what maybe two men face-to-face would do. They're going to do that. But once you open Pandora's box, it's open. And, you know, again, I know I play a very important part in media. So I will definitely accept that there's a role that maybe platforms like mine has that maybe amplifies some of this Looney Tune behavior. I will say that. But let's be very clear. Y'all called him a pedophile. He say that man's kid ain't his and it's yours. Y'all man needs to go thump it out, shoot it out, figure it out, or keep doing y'all thing. And just remember, as long as the bank account on the 1st and the 15th, they keep ringing, you won. Okay? It ain't that personal to me. But I could tell last night it's very personal. All right? Let's keep it going, chat. We're going to get on with the... All
right, so that was pretty much the end of that. Man, that was a lot. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good bit to take in. But I'm happy that they had this conversation with him, and I'm happy that he streamed it because it did clear up a lot of narratives, and you can map up certain things to what he said to certain events. So it definitely, as a fan or as a person on this side, as a listener, you definitely get what can I say? I don't want to say closure, but you get an insight on. We get more of an insight onto what was going on at certain point in time, which was interesting, and most people had already knew. From Drake sending crazy voice notes to what else happened. Drake sending the crazy voice notes. You can say the lawsuit, them some Pina is Top Dog's phone. It's I don't know, man. It was just a lot. I don't think anybody saw. No one knew to the magnitude that this beef would go, but it got there, and now we here. And I feel like the only way you can really stop the fan bases, because Ack had a very good point when he said once you open Pandora's box with the fans and they start bringing in their opinions, it's open, and that's true. And the only way you can stop that is if they got together and squash their beef. And hey, everybody take like Ack said, everybody take accountability. No matter who said what about who first, or what's done is done, and you can only do what you can do. And I feel like if you want the fans to kind of stop and chill what they doing, the only way to do that is to get them two together in a room on the stage and have them squash their beef. Until that happens, the fans is just gonna keep going. The fans ain't gonna stop. It's definitely getting to a point where it's taking too far, but that's just how it is, man. And I'll say with Ack, this is definitely just business for Ack. Even his demeanor throughout this video is just he don't really care. This was definitely just content for Ack. As I guess in a way, with it being his job and him getting paid, it should be. So I understand that part and I get it, man. So that's gonna be it. This is a pretty long video. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna end this video here. Let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. Let me know if y'all agree with what an Act said. Let me know how y'all view it on y'all side. Just talk to me in the comments, man. Just let me know. I'm gonna end that here with that. If you've made it this far in the video, please make sure you like, comment if you have anything to say, and subscribe to the channel so you can see all the new videos that come to this channel, man. And until the next video, I'm gonna holla at y'all.